One. What is going on, everyone? Entrepreneur Nation here on KCI 8.9 FM in Irvine. I'm your host, Ash Kumra. We're having a great conversation, part two, I should say, about influencer marketing, where things are going. We've talked about what we could learn from legends like Nipsey, Floyd Mayweather, DJ Khaled. Now let's talk about insights and ways for you to get involved. Because one thing I love about this day and age is that we live in an era where information is everywhere, it's proliferated, and it's easier than ever to get access to the right kind of content. You don't just have to read articles or pay money for college degrees. I'm not pitching don't go to college, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things. Talk about that. What is your insights on influencer marketing? And let me be more specific. There are people out there that want to, let's talk about individuals, okay? Just to break it down. There's someone who wants to be an influencer in, let's say, lifestyle. Let's say fashion, fashion and things like that. Like a fashion influencer or something that's a consumer focused. What are some insights for 2020 and most of 2019 that you think is important to think about?
Well, I think the first thing is you have to decide that you want to either monetize it.
Okay.
Or you just want to be relevant.
What's the difference between the two?
One you get paid for, one you're consistent at.
Does one lead to the other?
They're kind of intertwined. There's a strong correlation. So,
okay,
I'll give you an example. I met a girl. She has I'll actually shout her out because I think her story is quite unique. She owns a Instagram page called, I think it's called Blended Chat.
Okay.
That could be wrong, but she said I met her at an influencer meetup, and she was like, I'm a micro influencer. And I was like, what do you do?
What is a micro influencer? Just for people who don't know, sorry.
A micro influencer would be someone that you probably have never heard of, but they're very relevant in a specific topic or a range of topics. So, for example, with crowdfunding, you personally speaking, have done some great stuff.
I have,
crowdfunding.
Yeah. So I'd be a micro influencer for crowdfunding.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense.
You'll be more impactful than, say, a football player talking about an equity crowdfunding platform. So, or someone who's like a spiritual guru that consistently posts meditation quotes and shows meditation, displays meditation techniques or yoga techniques, and they have a following that is not some people say over 500,000 on Instagram or whatever combined, that you define them as a micro influencer.
Okay.
So they are an influencer in a specific niche, but not a macro influencer or celebrity, so to speak.
So going to that fashion person, someone who wants to be relevant or monetize, what about platforms? Like what are the platforms that are on your mind? Like the top 3 platforms. Or even if you want to go specific, like I talk about IGTV a lot. Like, what are some 3 things they need to be on top of?
I think one of the most important platform research shows for influencer marketing by far is Instagram.
Why is Instagram the best one?
I think the user experience.
Okay.
I think the UX, the fact that people grew up with it and they've watched it evolve into what it is right now, and it's constantly being redesigned and new features are being added. It doesn't make it stale. It's not stagnant, and they're constantly, testing new features, and I think Instagram, the rollout is always immaculate, and not only that, there's a whole generation of people, including myself, that grew up on this thing.
Yeah.
It's been in our lives for well over a decade now, I think. Well, maybe it seems like it. I don't even think it's been that long.
Yeah.
And so people, are heavily influenced subconsciously or, easily marketed to on Instagram.
Okay.
They spend a healthy amount of time on it.
So what else? You named Instagram. What else?
YouTube is very big.
Second largest search engine in the world.
I think YouTube is big, especially for someone who wants to get into earning money with influence marketing. One of the most amazing thing I share with people everywhere is there's a 7-year-old kid named Ryan that earned $22 million last year on YouTube. And there's another guy called Ninja who earned $10 million playing video games on Switch.
That definitely sounds like a ninja.
Yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of money being made by a healthy amount of people with YouTube and other platforms that you've never heard of, like Twitch, where people get paid to live stream. There are other platforms that are emerging, like Caffeine And
There's a platform called Caffeine.
yeah, and yeah, they've raised over 140 million.
What are they? What are they about? That's such a cool name.
They're Twitch competitors, so it's a live streaming platform.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that's what's up. All
So
right.
there are a lot of discoveries you learn at the conference. There are a lot of companies that are allowing people to monetize their influence. There's fans only. There's, as a beauty influencer, I would definitely say YouTube, because the more views you're able to acquire, the more you earn. You can monetize YouTube versus Instagram, where you can just basically would have to have a relationship with a brand.
Okay.
To get compensated to promote them, so to speak. And with YouTube, you can actually earn money from the views and the sponsored relationship or whatever, the client influencer relationship.
I love
so
that.
you can work with brands on Instagram to make money as well, but you don't make money off the views. It's all ego, so to speak, right? I got 2,000 likes. But YouTube, you get 2,000 views, you're getting paid. It might be not a lot of money, but think about that if you're thinking about 2 million.
So
views.
is the CPM model still the common thing?
Influence marketing, that's interesting. That's a good question. The ROI it's in flux, right? So
Yeah.
some people go by CPA, some people go by other matrices. Like,
What's your favorite?
I really don't have any. I think that you have to be very flexible and open-minded and look at every situation as a unique situation.
My last question on that, and then we're going to talk about your event, is what is a disruptive revenue model that you think is like either not happened yet or it's about to become big?
Disruptive revenue money that's not happened yet that I think is about to get big.
Yeah, like
okay. So I think one of the things that people are not aware of are emerging platforms. Like I was talking about Caffeine.
Yeah.
And Switch, the people overlook. Well, Twitch got bought by Amazon for billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And one thing I'll tell you is this: the social media platforms right now are starting to feel like nightclubs, right? Your dad is in Facebook. He's on Facebook.
No, your dad's on LinkedIn.
No, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm a dad.
Oh, my bad. I mean, I meant like our older.
Us daddies.
I meant your dad's your dad or my dad. Someone who's more a baby boomer.
Yeah,
because you're definitely not a baby boomer.
Well, no,
Either that or you age well.
I'm an OG.
I like it.
Let's put it that way. But I think that the social media platforms are very, very unique to different demographics, right? So you have people that I'll say maybe between the ages of 18 to 40 predominantly using Instagram, but there's a strong correlation of people 35 and over on Facebook. And they might not even have an Instagram account. Now, the people that are Generation Z, they have these new platforms they're using right now that are just exploding, like TikTok. TikTok is the fastest growing platform.
I've been hearing about TikTok.
Yeah, it used to be called ByteDance. There used to be Vine, but that didn't work out. But the adoption rate with the millennials is very different. And, if you're a brand trying to sell to a demographic of teenagers, your approach has to be different from someone selling to baby boomers per se. You would have to use different types of influences. It seems obvious, but it's in practice. These are things that a lot of brands haven't learned how to navigate the whole influencer market.
So going into that, concluding that kind of conversation on where people can learn about how to be an influencer or become a better influencer marketer if they work for an influencer or a company. Let's talk about this event you're doing. Tell us the name and why did you want to create it and the date.
Okay, so it's called the Influencer Marketing Conference and Expo.
Okay, domain name?
Yeah, the domain name is influencermarketingexpo.com.
Great domain.
Yeah, we paid up quite a
I bet you did.
for it,
I bet you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
one of your Maybach wheels.
my toys. But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is we wanted to create something that was dedicated just to this emerging niche of influencer marketing. Because we talked about micro-influencers, we talked about celebrities being influencers. There's really a science, or some people say an art to it. How do you what are the best influencer marketing practices? How do you overcome the hurdles like influencers using fake followers? What's the future like? There's a trend going on right now. People should look up this Instagram page called @LittleMiquela.
Okay.
@LILMIQULA. It's the trippiest thing in influencer marketing. It's called CGI. These are non-humans.
That's insane.
Yeah, being influencers and doing lucrative
Like
deals.
Little Nemo being an influencer.
It's something like that. And I think that's an interesting trend to watch, because from a brand's perspective, it might be cheaper. eliminate liability.
Well, that would work with kids really well.
Yeah, and that's interesting. You mentioned kids because there's also kid influencers, which is a huge thing. I mentioned Ryan making 22 million in earnings. He just got a show with Nickelodeon.
Wow.
He made 11 million last year and doubled up. He made 11 million the year before and doubled up to 22 million. And he was 6 when he made 11 million. It's pretty. I mean, we read these headlines and it goes over our heads, but the truth is, there's a huge shift in how media has been consumed, and some people are monetizing that, and it seems that to have nothing to do with age. It has to do with the declaration that I want to make money off this social media.
Who are some of the speakers that like top 2 or 3 speakers that come to your mind that would be of interest for people?
So we have over 70 speakers.
Amazing.
Yeah, we were very fortunate. We had a lot of interest, but I think one of the best things about the speaker lineup is we have a healthy mix. We have one of the people that I think we were very fortunate to get was the regional director of the Federal Trade Commission. And I felt that if we wanted to have a real dialogue about influencer marketing, we have to talk about compliance.
Yeah.
You know,
heck yeah.
You want to do it right.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure you're doing it right by the by the regulators. Yeah. And to get the highest ranking Federal Trade Commissioner officer in this part of the country was a blessing, and we're very honored that he accepted the invite. We have people that are in charge of influencer marketing for IBM, SAP, which is a company that has over 95,000 employees, to people with startups that are going to do impactful things in business, who wants to use influencer marketing as a catalyst to scale. Okay. Yeah. Well, before we end the show, I want to say thank you for what you're doing. You're crushing it. I love this story. I'm gonna definitely have you on again after the tide settles and this conference is done so well. I'll be like, I discovered this cat. He was big time, but I made him bigger because I promote. I'm just kidding. Man, I appreciate it. No, I like what you're doing. No joke. And what's your name, bro? I didn't get your name on the show.
Oh, Justin.
Thanks for supporting too, being on the show. I really appreciate you both. Influencermarketingexpo.com. That's what's up, everyone. This is Entrepreneur Nation here on